Thank you so much, Enrique. Appreciate you and your leadership and just the extraordinary work you and this entire Zoom call has done, because we have been marching for 2 years steadily to this point. It's awesome to see all of you. I wish it could be in person. I wish we could enjoy the beautiful warm summer outside, but thank you all for continuing to do your part in the fight against COVID-19. I don't have to tell a bunch of water professionals about public health. It's what we specialize in. We know the language of it. And I just especially want to give you my thanks in what we've done and will continue to do to continue to save lives. And then more importantly, to reimagine that future and to invest in a Los Angeles that in many ways is even bolder than anyone pictured before. But I want to start by thanking some people who've gotten us here today. Cynthia McClain-Hill, the entire board of the oversight of Department of Water and Power, and a special shout out to Rich Harisick and everyone at DWP. I see Marty's here as well. Thank you, Marty, and the West Basin Municipal Water District. This is really about creating customers and making sure that we finally do have a one water strategy. And I know how long you've been working on this. To Pat Shields and Gloria Gray and Harold Williams for all you do to advance wastewater recycling in LA. And to the entire Bureau of Sanitation team who organized this historic event. This is definitely my first groundbreaking on a Zoom call. It's been 4 months into this crisis, but I've not actually broken ground, but I've asked my staff to bring in some dirt that I can throw up into the air afterwards. Board of Public Works President, and it's a new title to say, Greg Good. Congratulations again, Greg, and thank you for your great work and leadership. And then to all the advocates, really, who are the ones who have educated us for so many years, community groups, members of the city family who have been part of this across any boundaries and borders and silos. You've made Hyperion a symbol of our promise to Angelenos during COVID-19 that the city would never stop working for its people. So breaking ground on the Hyperion JRP, to me, is really a cause for celebration. It's a moment of hope, a marker of progress on our road to resilience and sustainability. And it's impossible, though, I think, to feel hope right now without some anguish. It's hard to celebrate without worrying about new setbacks, because too many of our neighbors are out of jobs right now. Too many of our families are grieving a loved one who's been lost to COVID-19 or who's just hanging on. Each of our communities is living underneath this very heavy cloud right now of fear and uncertainty about the present and about the future. But for those of us who have been part of this environmental movement, we know that feelings of crisis and pressure and doubt are things that we've had to contain for a long time. When we get past COVID-19, and we will, we still face a crisis climate that makes us all question whether the earth as we know it will even be here. And talk to a young person, they're wondering whether they will still be around or their children will still be around. And if so, what will the world look like? And we know that how it feels to realize that something isn't right and that we're headed in a wrong direction, because so many of us have felt this before we were stuck inside our homes. We saw that climate change was displacing many people from their homes around the world and even here. And before a virus reminded us of our vulnerability, we knew that in Los Angeles, because we've seen earthquakes, fires, and floods. It's part of who we are to be strong. And we always wondered, before we wondered whether life would return to normal, we knew that normal isn't acceptable. And so I invite you to take this moment not to return to anything when this is done, but to really take this as a moment of reimagination, because long before COVID-19, we started to reimagine water again in Los Angeles. That year after year, we saw drier years than the last, a beloved coastline that's vanishing fast, a reliance from water from too many other places that takes too much energy to bring here. So in many ways, normal has been a danger to everything that we hold near and dear. But we rejected normal long before 2020 arrived. We weren't future phobic and we weren't future passive. We tried to be a third route, which is future guiding. In the face of tough challenges, to not shy away from them, but to rise to meet them. And I'm so proud of our collective work. It's why we dreamt up a Green New Deal here in Los Angeles. That wasn't just a vague roadmap. It was a specific green print with deadlines and details. It's why we made Zero Wasted Water a pillar of that plan, which is a bold, brave new vision for the water future that we need. It's why we'll cut the city's purchases of imported water by 50% by 2025 and source 70% of our water locally by 2035. Something even Mark Gold said was impossible, but then he admitted that it was not only doable, but then told us to go further. It's why we'll recycle 100% of the city's wastewater by 2035. I mean, these goals are as big as any human beings who have worked in this city government or activists who have worked in this region have ever achieved. As I mentioned, it's 3 times the LA aqueduct, if you just want to picture the volume. So this is like 3 Mulholland moments at once. And this joint research pilot is going to be critical in making them real and helping us achieve them. It will give us the tools to produce the highest quality of recycled wastewater, look at 3 different technologies to see what works best, do it efficiently, get the most out of it, and increase our local water resources, not just for DWP customers, but for our neighbors in the area, ensuring that all 4 of our water reclamation plants finally recycle every drop of their wastewater. Simply put, getting to 100% recycled water is a giant, complex puzzle. It might be difficult politically for policymakers to make those pledges, but our pledges are easy in comparison to the engineering that actually has to take place. And I'm very humbled by that and grateful to you because I might set a vision, but it's really you who deserve those plaudits that Enrique led with. He only does that because I'm his boss, but you're the ones who I know every single day are really going to do the complex work of making sure this works. And this milestone adds momentum to our other efforts on our work to curb our water consumption, whether it's the North Hollywood West Wellhead, the groundwater treatment facility that will clean enough water for 35,600 homes, to our county-funded safe, clean water programs, which are securing more trees and fields and recreation space in communities that have seen generations of underinvestment to recharge our aquifers, to the stormwater capture project citywide that we've already done for now a couple decades to collect and to recycle and conserve water while protecting against flooding. We can do all of these things. We must do each of them to build a way of life that is safer and more self-sufficient and more sustainable for all Angelenos. So let me close where Los Angeles began, with the Gabrielino Tongva, the indigenous tribe of this Los Angeles basin. As we know, I always love telling children the stories of, where your freeways came from. Well, that's where our main roads were, our highways before we had them. Before that, they were the main streets. Before that, they were the walk paths of our Indian ancestors, and those mirrored what was here even before people were, the waterways. So if you actually look at the freeway system of Los Angeles, it mirrors not the logic of an urban planner, but the logic of nature itself. And the Tongva built their villages near creeks and rivers and other water sources because thousands of years before most of our families called LA home, the early caretakers of this land knew a foundational truth, an axiom of good living, that we are all better off when good, clean water is close by, when it's accessible, when it's reliable. And so it's that tradition we take up at this moment to be the next settlers for those who will come after us, to be the celebrants of a day like today where we aren't scared of that future, but we make sure that life, which is so precious and we feel it so much these days during this crisis, is indeed not only preserved, but sustained for years to come. So thanks to all of you, this will be producing jobs in our community. This will be producing water, which is local. Will be providing justice for communities that have been denied safe drinking water for too long. We have so much left to give this city and this world. And thank you for being that front line of making sure not only we get through this moment, but we see a reimagined future for all of us ahead. Thank you. Back to you, Enrique.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for always being so inspirational. And, we're very proud of all of the technical staff, our operators, and all 3 agencies, scientists, engineers, instrument mechanics, folks that come from every background, chemists, you name it. And to represent that entire group of collective individuals who are the technical gurus, if you will, I'm going to ask Timmy Indafira, who happens to have the enviable task of being the plant manager for Hyperion, the largest water reclamation plant in the world, or at least in the US, and Hubertus Cox, who is also a doctor, PhD, and in charge of our recycled water program at Hyperion. Tim, please.
Thank you, Enrique, for the kind words. I want to thank the mayor and everybody who's a part of this celebration today for coming. As you all know, Hyperion has a storied history that is intertwined with the development and prosperity of our great city. From the purchase of 200 acres of beachfront property by city leaders in 1892, to a modest screening plant in the 1920s, to a full secondary plant in the 1950s, to a full secondary, the sequel, in the 90s, the evolution of Hyperion is nothing short of a blockbuster journey of epic proportions. As we write the next chapter in this storied history, we can take pride in that what began with our mayor's vision, the hard work that we are doing today with boundless imagination, and that we will be called upon to do in the near future, will produce one of the greatest engineering projects of our time and ensure reliable local water supply that guarantees an even brighter future for our great city. With that, I turn it over to Dr. Hugh Cox to give you a preview of how the Mbr Pilot project will contribute to the bright future ahead. Thanks.
We can't hear you if you're speaking. If you want, Enrique, I can do the voiceover. So the project goals here today are to obtain regular.
Let me jump in here.
There you go.
That was me. But Hugh, are you on now, Hugh? If not, Tim, your audio was working just fine, Tim. So you may have to jump in. All right, Tracy.
I told you, Enrique, I could do it. There's 3 technologies that we're going to be piloting here, folks.
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Okay, now I've received the unmute. Oh, there we go.
All right, you're doing it, Tim?
Yes, but the screen needs to be adjusted because I can't see the entire screen from. So project goals, it says obtain regulatory approval for portable reuse applications, compare Mbr membrane systems from 3 major vendors, and develop performance and for conversion of recycled water by 2035. Who's got the screen control? I need the text adjusted for me, please. So the project team, it's basically consisted of 3 agencies working closely together: LA Sanitation, LADWP, and West Basin Municipal Water District. Along the team, we have consultants from Corollo, Stantec, and Trussell that are partners in this. The technology providers who are very essential to this endeavor, we have DuPont, Mbr vendor, Suez, Mbr vendor, Coke, Mbr vendor, and we're gonna have Evoqua Systems as our system integrator that is gonna put the entire package together and make sure everything runs seamlessly. In terms of regulatory agencies, because we're gonna be seeking approval from these regulatory agencies to use this groundbreaking technology for the purpose that we intend it for. And we have the State Division of Drinking Water and the Regional Water Quality Control Board. In addition to that, the state water regulations requires us to have an outside panel of independent experts. And so we're going to convene this outside panel of independent experts that are going to look from academia and industry, that are going to go over the work that we've done to ensure that ultimately the water that is produced is protective of public health. Next slide, please. So in terms of budget for this facility, facility design cost us $2.8 million. The equipment that we've just issued a purchase order for and we're going to be installing will be $15.1 million. We're going to have testing for a period of 1 year after construction is done. And that's $1.3 million. And then the independent advisory board will cost us $0.3 million. Next slide, please. So as far as schedules go, July 2020 kickoff, we're looking at kickoff with the Division of Drinking Water to basically go over our plans. We'll constitute the independent advisory panel by August, and then all the installation work will begin starting October of 2020. And then we look at completing the startup and testing by May of 2021, completes installation by September of 2021, and we'll start the pilot testing that will run for 1 year from October 2021 through October 2022. And that's where we will gather all the data to make the case for why this groundbreaking technology can be used as a drinking water augmentation technology. And then February, all the wrap-up reports are submitted for the state for approval. Next slide, please. And so thank you, and that's it in terms of the road forward of getting this pilot going. We're very excited, and we look forward to the contribution of all the parties to making this a successful endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. And for those who are hungry for more technical information, we're going to drill down a little bit more in the open discussion piece. Unfortunately, Mr. Mayor, you may not be with us by then, but we will get into more of the attributes of the technologies and other more technical aspects of the project. And, but you know, ensuring that Hyperion safeguards the environmental health of the most beautiful bay in the world downstream of it, while simultaneously protecting the public health of all Angelenos upstream of it, is a daunting task by itself, with no tolerance for much. As we embark on this monumental transformation, the task just got even more complicated. Having the partnership with our sister agencies and the other organizations will make this possible. Not easy, but possible. Appointed and elected leaders of the oversight commissions will provide the policy directional pull that is so critical to the success of the undertaking ahead. Allow me to introduce them as they make their remarks. Known for his relentless drive to help bring solid waste recycling to all commercial and multifamily Angelenos, he will now get his feet wet and do the same in the Zero Wasted Water Initiative. Commission President of the Board of Public Works, Commissioner Greg Good.
Thank you, Enrique. I wonder if you really meant to say get my feet wet in this introduction. I'm sure you did. Thank you so much. And it is a really exciting day. I mean, obviously, you and your entire team, Enrique, deserve immense congratulations on starting this up. The mayor, without whose leadership and just vision and drive on this, you're not here. And then I think Barbara Romero and Liz Crossan and their teams, Lauren Faber and her team, all really deserve a lot of credit as well for being intellectual and philosophical and organizing forces in this whole process. And so it really is exciting. This is a virtual groundbreaking that is really breaking ground. And that's a rare twofer. And that's something that is exceedingly exciting and unusual. First, just to echo what you were saying, Enrique, I think it's really rare to see this level of partnership. But when you are truly launching into a revolution, which this is, you got to bring everybody to the table. And so that level of collaboration, that level of partnership, it can be profound, and it can be extremely powerful, and it clearly will be and needs to be here. From the outside advocate community to all the different agencies, bringing them together is a rare feat, and it portends success. Second, this is going to seem redundant through the day, but this is just such an incredible win-win. The idea of 170 million gallons per day of new recycled water for the city, for Angelenos, is extraordinary. It is a genuine game changer. And then when you couple that, and I think it merits noting, when you couple that with the economic impacts we're looking at here, my understanding is the total investment of $3 billion is going to translate into 100,000 new jobs. That's external jobs, that's internal jobs. That is an economic engine, and it is illustrative of a point that the mayor has been so successful and constant in making, which is growth. A Green New Deal is an economic force. It is jobs, and that can never be lost. And so this really is a tremendous day. It's a tremendous opportunity for Angelenos, and to have this force that we're looking at on this screen all coming together in such a symbiotic way is inspiring, and I'm very excited to do whatever I can on behalf of the Board of Public Works to expedite, facilitate, and just move relentlessly, Mr. Mayor, towards those ends. So thank you, Enrique. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, everyone, for having me, and look forward to working with you on this.
Thank you, Commissioner Good. And, a true champion of the city's efforts to make Mayor Garcetti's and DWP's visions for local water supplies a reality is Commissioner Cynthia McClain-Hill. Commissioner, welcome.
Well, thank you so much. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. First, I want to say thanks for this wonderful opportunity today to speak on behalf of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. It's exciting to see the progress that's been made on the demonstration plant since our mayor's announcement in February of 2019. We've had a long-standing relationship with LA San as partners in delivering recycled water to Angelenos for over 40 years now, and we look forward to working together to achieve our goals of meeting 70% of the city's water use from local water supplies like stormwater capture, groundwater replenishment, and conservation by 2035. Meeting the audacious vision set forth by Mayor Garcetti in the Green New Deal. We're also very pleased to continue our partnership with West Basin Municipal Water District. The water produced from this plant will be part of our Operation Next program, which will meet this goal. Operation Next is the name that we've given to the program that will take water from Hyperion to replenish our groundwater basin, pump it to our Los Angeles Aqueduct filtration plant for future treatment with our aqueduct water, and potentially connect to other regional recycled water systems that are currently being planned. Our customers' confidence is critical, especially during this time as we deal with this ongoing pandemic. We have a long history of providing the highest level of water quality, and it will be no different with our Operation Next program as we will take the rigorous steps necessary to continue to ensure that every drop of water served to our customers is safe to drink. In closing, I just want to say a special thank you to the folks who lead our effort in this partnership, Marty Adams and Rich Herkson. I so appreciate being the person who speaks on behalf of this department. I want to say thank you to the mayor and to your vision. We now have a plan to build a long-term, sustainable, reliable, and resilient water supply so that the world's drought, that Los Angeles will never be used in the same sentence again. I want to thank you all very much for the opportunity to participate today.
Thank you, Commissioner. Someone who is royalty in the water sector, whose track record speaks for itself in developing water supplies, both as an elected board member of the West Basin Water District and as the chairwoman of the Metropolitan Water District. Please help me welcome Chairwoman Gloria Gray.
I believe Ms. Gray may be dialing in from a phone. Ms. Gray, please use *6 on your phone so you can unmute yourself.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. Is Commissioner Harold on the call? Board Member Harold? No? Okay.
Hold on, I think she's connecting to the audio now. Try it now, Gloria.
Oh, there she is. Full video.
She's on video, but the sound is not connecting for some reason. My now very experienced COVID-19 Zoom call, you might want to try to log off and log back on. Gloria, if you come back on and just hit yes to the audio when you first log on, it looks like the audio never connected. If you can hear me.
You've gotten way too good at moderating these calls, Mr. Mayor.
Here's your Zoom tip for the day, everybody. If you're ever muted and you have control, you can just hit your space bar and it temporarily unmutes. And when you lift it up, it mutes again. So come back for 201 next week, Zoom 201. All right, well, we're working on Gloria. We will come back to you, Gloria, we promise. Let's go to the next speaker.
All right, very good. A scientist at heart who has demonstrated the unique ability to turn her scientific interest into one of tireless advocacy for environmental protection. As the President and Chief Executive Officer of Heal the Bay, please help me welcome Dr. Shelley Luce.
Thank you very much, Enrique. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am very happy to be here. Heal the Bay, everyone involved in the 35-year history of Heal the Bay, and I myself am very excited about the city's goal of 100% recycling by 2035 and about the Green New Deal, which we fully support and look forward to helping implement. It's taken a lot of work to get here, and what it represents to me as a scientist is something that we teach children throughout Heal the Bay, or through our Heal the Bay education programs year after year. And it's the knowledge that in nature, things are cyclical. They are not linear. We don't start here and end there and throw everything else away. What we have in nature is a cyclical process. Well, we always have our cyclical processes. And so this is happening on a major scale where we are finally reusing on site the resources that we have already here. And I think that that is a huge step forward for us. This tangible step of beginning the membrane bioreactor pilot is very exciting, and I can't wait to see the results of it. And this move toward back to the cyclical systems that we see in nature also highlights for us some of the outstanding challenges, including that of persistent pollutants that are in our wastewater. So I look forward to talking more with the city about how to stop those at the source, the PFAS, the herbicides and pesticides, the components from the plastics and cleaning solutions that we all use in our everyday lives that are not going to be part of a concentrated wastewater. So I look at this as a great opportunity to move our society to greater sustainability in many different ways. So thank you very much. We're thrilled to be part of it.
Thank you, Shelley. And let's check on Gloria again. Any luck, Jenny or Pam, in getting Gloria online?
I'm not certain if she has a microphone on her computer. I don't see that she has a microphone on her computer. She might not have a microphone.
Okay. Well, let's see. We will, as soon as we're able to get her online, we will. I know the mayor definitely wanted to see her speak, but I know we're past, just a little bit past your time, Mr. Mayor.
I got a second. Go ahead. Don't worry.
Yeah, let's try to get her online. If she can call in from her phone as opposed to the computer, right?
That is correct.
Okay, I know she was at the MWD board meeting.
Well, I know Liz texted her again, but no worries if we can't get her. We can keep the show moving. That's the other Zoom critical lesson, is work through it, but keep the show going.
Well, very good, Mr. Mayor. And we are now at the juncture where you, at least by our timeline, you were going to depart, and we wanted to reiterate how honored we are to have had you, and would like to open the floor for you again before you leave.
Well, I'll just say it very briefly. I mean, I know this is about as surreal a history as we're living through, but it is the most important history. You know, we look back and we wonder, what was it like for the people who came before us? What was it like at those moments when somebody had this audacious plan to get water from Owens Valley in a dead-end lake and bring it here? What was it like when people first started saying we could take recycled water and putting it on our golf courses? What was it like when people started building out a metropolis? These moments are both grand and granular at the same time. They're about the next thing on your desk, the next technology that we try, the next contract we approve, the next hire that we make, the next engineer who moves into doing the plans. And yet collectively, they are part of something great and grand. And so I just want to say how humbled I am to be a small cog on that wheel, but this mighty, mighty wheel that is moving for all of us. This city's history really is the history of water. And I'm so proud that we're writing this new chapter. We are writing a new chapter that fits into not just the growth of the city, but kind of every issue from environmental justice and jobs to trying to do our part to make sure we use less energy to get water, and that we live within the means that we have. So congratulations to each one of you. Thank you to each one of you that will make this happen. And I look forward to, Rich and I were chatting, we'll probably have to both be wheeled out of, some of us, our senior homes or our term limited post careers, but I hope we can all come back, and all the new people who are claiming credit for the opening day, and they will deserve plenty of it because there's a lot between here and there. We can at least say we were the proud grandparents of this project, and that we can all feel pretty amazing that we kept life going and a better quality of life going for all Angelenos for centuries to come. Congratulations, everybody. Sound of Zoom hands clapping. Thanks, everybody.
That's right.
Have a great day.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And let's move on to what will be a walkthrough of the location where the project is going to go, as best a depiction on video as we could put together with one of our star new engineers. So let's play this video, short, but it'll walk us through where the project is going to go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimia Nader Tehrani, and I'm one of the project engineers on the Membrane Bioreactor Pilot Facility project. I'm going to give you a short...
As the largest city within...
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimia Nader Tehrani, and I'm one of the project engineers on the Membrane Bioreactor Pilot Facility project. I'm going to give you a short overview of Hyperion, our project, and Hyperion's 100% water recycling goals. We're standing here at the Headworks facility, which is where Hyperion receives an average of 260 million gallons per day of wastewater. By 2035, we hope to produce up to 170 MGD of new recycled water, which can help offset up to about 40% of the total potable water use in LA. The MBR pilot study will be very important in helping us select the advanced treatment technologies that can produce safe and reliable recycled water. Okay, let's go. Now, we're standing next to the primary basins, which is the first step in treating wastewater at Hyperion. Primary treatment can remove 70 to 75% of the solids in wastewater, as well as about 50 to 55% of the organic material. So this is a really important step in the overall process, and one that we plan to keep when Hyperion becomes a 100% water recycling facility. Now, let's go to the intermediate pumping station. We're now at the intermediate pumping station, or IPS, which is where the wastewater is lifted from the primary treatment section to the secondary treatment section. This is also where we'll be collecting the water to feed our MBR pilot facility. The capacity of our facility is just 1 million gallons per day, so we just need a small pump and a pipeline to take the water to our next stop, the future MBR pilot facility site. Even though there's not much to see yet, this is the location for the future MBR pilot facility project. We're going to be testing the membrane separation systems from 3 different suppliers. We'll also be sharing the results of our study with the state's Department of Drinking Water, since we'll be needing regulatory approval for the use of MBR systems for the production of recycled water in 2035. Now, we're standing in front of our secondary treatment system with the oxygen bioreactors and the clarifiers. Take a good look now, because by 2035, this will all be gone as we transform Hyperion to a 100% water recycling facility. Thank you for joining me on this short tour. LA Sanitation and Environment, together with the Department of Water and Power and West Basin Municipal Water District, are working hard towards making water recycling a reality. Although 2035 may seem far away, the MBR pilot project is a critical first step in getting us there.
Pam and Jan on the control room, I just spoke with Gloria. She's able to connect now. Has she?
Can you hear me now? Thank
yes.
You. Thank
yeah.
you so much. I apologize. I was trying to manage 2 Zoom meetings this morning simultaneously, but thank you so much. It is an honor to be able to join all of the partners agencies here today in this virtual setting to recognize and celebrate the beginning of the next chapter of the Hyperion Membrane Bioreactor Facility Pilot Study and Research effort. On behalf of West Basin, I want to thank Mayor Garcetti and his team for their bold leadership and unwavering commitment to moving forward on viable local projects that will help Los Angeles achieve its goal of recycling 100% of the city's wastewater by the year 2035. I also want to extend our sincere appreciation to the leadership and staff at both LADWP, namely Marty Adams, and LA Bureau of Sanitation, specifically Enrique Salvador, for their ongoing support of West Basin's Recycle Water program. As the leader of two major wholesale water agencies, it is my responsibility to help ensure the communities we serve continue to have access to safe, reliable, and cost-effective water supplies. Since its formation in 1947, the West Basin mission has been to provide a safe and reliable supply of high-quality water to the communities we serve. For the past 25 years, West Basin and the City of Los Angeles have been partners in fostering the growth and availability of recycled water in our region. The recycled water that West Basin produces from Hyperion's secondary treated effluent is used for a variety of beneficial purposes. It protects local groundwater supplies by being injected into the seawater barrier, supports the local economy by providing major manufacturers with a sustainable water source for their operations, and promotes public space beautification and utility by providing a drought-free source of water to parks, schools, street medians, and other spaces. West Basin looks forward to beginning this next phase of the pilot study. We are optimistic about the potential of the MBR treatment process technology to improve water quality and increase treatment capabilities at Hyperion. We are also excited to see the feasibility study move forward, as this will help determine the potential for increasing West Basin's treatment capacity from 40 MGD to 70 MGD. This would be a huge milestone that will enable us to expand our recycled water infrastructure into new areas of the county, helping to meet the rapidly growing customer demand for recycled water. To date, West Basin has produced more than 220 billion gallons of recycled water at the district Edward C. Little Water Recycling Facility in El Segundo. As we move into the next phase, we are excited for the potential this project holds to further expand our recycled water production capabilities, which will benefit the city of Los Angeles and the many communities served by West Basin. In closing, while today is about celebrating and reflecting on our accomplishments, we're just getting started. Our work to construct a successful pilot project now begins. With that in mind, I feel quite fortunate that West Basin enjoys a great working relationship with a wonderful team of partner agencies in striving to achieve our goal of improving water reliability throughout our region. Thank you, Mayor Garcetti, for your vision and for your bold leadership. And thank you for having me here today and giving me the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. And we will go, you know, and as much as MBR seems to be part of most of us lexicon, it's not quite well known yet for the public at large. So it stands for Membrane Bioreactor, and this video will show us all how it generally works. So if we can run this next video.
As the largest city within the country's most populous state, Los Angeles has a rich history of meeting infrastructure challenges with progressive, environmentally sound solutions. When it comes to the city's water supply, its virtual lifeblood, Mayor Eric Garcetti has committed to reducing dependence on imported water. One component of a multi-pronged strategy to reduce water imports includes local supply augmentation through water recycling. The city's largest treatment facility, the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant, represents a critical building block in any water recycling approach. With an average flow of 260 million gallons per day, it can provide a significant drought-proof source of water. The city is embarking on a forward-thinking Mbr Pilot Facility to assess the suitability of advanced processes for the treatment and reclamation of Hyperion flows. Ultimately, this would entail the conversion of the existing secondary treatment facilities to advanced purification systems that can produce a high-quality water suitable for a variety of reuse applications. The test facility will, first, determine the capabilities and effectiveness of advanced purification systems. Second, demonstrate their performance to the regulatory community. And finally, provide a basis for the design of a future plant conversion. The Mbr Pilot Facility will use the effluent from primary sedimentation as its source of water. The first step in the advanced purification process will be fine screening. The screening is to protect downstream mechanical equipment by the removal of any materials greater than 2 millimeters in size that might be carried over from primary sedimentation. Once screened, the flow will enter the membrane bioreactor, also known as the MBR. The MBR provides a secondary level of treatment and has two principal components: the biological reactor and the membrane separation system. The reactor is a multi-stage biological treatment process that facilitates the removal of organic matter, nutrients, and solids. Within the reactor, there are aerobic and anoxic zones to maximize treatment effectiveness. The treated liquid from the reactor is fed into the MBR's membrane system with microscopic pores to separate water from the biomass solids. Solids are returned to the biological reactor, and the clarified liquid is conveyed for further purification. 3 membrane separation systems provided by different suppliers will be comparatively tested. The next step is reverse osmosis, also known as RO. In this process, the liquid is forced by pressure through membranes with very small openings. This process removes dissolved salts, organics, and pathogens that may remain after the MBR process. The final step in the process involves disinfection for pathogen destruction before reuse. This involves irradiation by ultraviolet light in combination with the application of a strong chemical oxidant. This approach is referred to as UV-AOP, UV for ultraviolet, and AOP for advanced oxidation processes. Within the test facility, there will be a number of chemicals used to clean membranes, condition the treated water, and provide disinfection. Chemical feed and storage systems will be located in a single location with truck access for routine deliveries. The MBR Pilot Facility will demonstrate the effectiveness of advanced treatment systems to produce a high-quality, reliable supply of purified, recycled water for all customers. It's a major step toward achieving the mayor's goals of reducing the demand for imported water and 100% recycling of all wastewater in Los Angeles by 2035, consistent with LA's Green New Deal, conserving our water and sourcing it locally.
Well, very good. Like in any project of any size, you know, you always build float in the timeline, and this ceremony is no exception. You know, we build most of our float time in the discussion piece of the program. I know we're just shy of 10 minutes left of what would be the official program, and in respect of everybody's time, we're going to abbreviate the discussion time, but you know, this is a time for questions, comments, or anything that is more specific to the technical aspects of the project. And you know, where you raise your hand by going to the your control there on your Zoom screen, and just click on the raise hand if you want to make a comment. I know the project partners, and in fact, just to get things going, I am going to ask on Tracy as I said earlier, not much that we were able to go deeper into the technical considerations in the earlier part of the program, but one reason why MBR became a very promising technology is that as we enter into the production of drinking water quality water, and we have to achieve what is known as nitrification and denitrification of our influent, which means removing ammonia and other nitrogen compounds. And that requires an awful lot of space under normal conventional processes. So MBR is a compact technology of sorts. Tracy, can you elaborate why that is so important?
Well, sure. Thank you, Enrique. As you saw from the videos, you could see the MBR technology is in very compact cassettes. And you saw the very fine strands that are used, very thin, about the diameter of your hair. Those cartridges will allow for us to increase the amount of flow in a smaller footprint at the plant. In the background, you'll see that our clarifiers take up a significant amount of acreage for the plant. And as we transition into membrane bioreactors, we will be able to eliminate our clarifiers and use the very small and compact membrane bioreactors. So that's going to be saving us quite a bit of space and allow us to get all of the new processes into the footprint at Hyperion.
Thank you, Tracy. I was trying to check my microphone. Someone said that I was coming out too loud. No one ever called me a loudmouth. All right.
You're fine. You're fine.
All right. So, you know, I wanted to also touch on the fact that there's some big decisions yet to be made down the road, not too far down the road, but things like our flow fluctuation, where we go from low flow diurnal in any given day, and then seasonal fluctuation from where we go from dry weather, which ranges from 50 MGD to sometimes 300 MGD. And then there's the wet weather, which, yes, we should have more of it here. And we can reach peaks of up to 1 billion gallons per day. So that kind of variation gives us an incredible challenge to try to have the plant be able to attenuate and deal with the fluctuation and provide a reliable, steady product to our customers, namely, obviously, DWP and West Basin, because we sure know how demanding they are. And so that flow challenge is technically quite daunting. Tim and Hugh, you want to talk about some of the ideas that we're talking with our partners in terms of what we could do to have flow equalization? Hugh, did you fix your microphone? All right.
Tim, can you unmute?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so like Tracy mentioned, MBR is a great technology for basically doing secondary treatment to remove nitrogen and ammonia in a very small footprint. But it also has a limitation in terms of it needs somewhat of a constant flow, and there's only so much you can vary how much flow you can push through those membrane systems. So like Enrique mentioned, when it rains, we have 2 to 3 times more flow coming into the plant than we normally get on an average dry weather basis. So the fact that MBR potentially you could go to 1.5 times more than your average flow, it means all that excess wet weather flow that still requires secondary treatment needs to be treated through some kind of a technology. And so that's where we're doing all the new studies to basically look at potentially what the candidates would be for that secondary treatment process in such a way that we'll still be able to meet our ocean discharge standards. So there are different variations that you could look at. One is a totally new secondary independent system that basically you can get ready when prior to wet weather, you get it up and running. And there are challenges, obviously, because you have a biology, which is a living organisms, how you keep them alive. But you know, you could have that system where basically you have it ready for wet weather. You could have a system where you also have the secondary system run with a certain small amount of minimum flow year round. And then the water that it produces combines with the MBR water and goes through the reverse osmosis process. So there are different variations of how you could potentially either have a small flow that you keep year round, or you have it in a seasonal way where you seed flows in prior to the rainstorm. So those are the different things we're looking at as to how we can come up with this optimum structure where once we have these large flows, we're able to address it and at the same time providing water to our customers on a reliable basis.
Thank you, Tim. I see a question by Kwan. If we can unmute Kwan.
Hi, Enrique. Can you hear me?
Oh my gosh, board member Carol.
Oh.
Hey, Kwan. How are you?
I'm sorry.
Yes. We've been hiding too much. We live behind a mask. But anyway.
Yes, I know. Speaking of that.
I know. I just cannot. Oh, yes, of course. Still handsome, no worry. I just want to say hi, you know, to everybody, you know, like we've been hiding for so long. And, you know, hi, Enrique, hi, Tracy, hi, Tim, and all the presenter and everybody. I just want to say that it's such a great, so much work during this unusual time for you guys to move on with the project. So much hard work is done. And, you know, I always said I'm not an engineer. I should appreciate more, you know, the effort and things that, you know, you guys put into it. So thank you, the sanitation department. Thank you for all your leadership. And thank you for all West Basin staff working together. And of course, Mayor Garcetti and his administration. Such a joint effort. Now you had a joint effort to move forward such a huge project. And I really speak from the bottom of my heart. And I would like to see recycled water everywhere. You know what I mean? Just to, you know, just to make it a very environmental friendly city and place that we live in, or planet we live in. Thank you. I just want to say hi, show my face a little bit, and thank you.
Thank you so much, board member Carol. Thank you. And, you know, I know we may not want to, but the energy aspect of the project is hugely important as the pilot itself. And then there's the ultimate transformation of Hyperion. So we're thinking ahead, and we're so glad and happy that DWP is one of the managing partners of this, of course, because we're going to try to increase our energy production. But Marty and Rich, we don't think we can quite produce enough on site. So we are definitely going to need DWP for that once we embark on the larger expansion. Between now and maybe 5 years or so, we will increase the production by bringing food waste into the digesters. That's one of our other side parallel projects that whose objective is to increase renewable energy within Hyperion. But we are definitely going to solicit your assistance, Marty and Rich, on top of everything else that you are already doing in this project. But any tips on that, Marty, Rich, energy-wise, just thinking ahead?
Well, I'll add in, and Marty can underscore it, but we do have some really cool opportunities because as the city also marches towards 100% renewable, there could be a world in the future where at times during the day or throughout the year that there might be excess power available. And if we can design this whole conversion at Hyperion and then our transmission distribution system to match up with the availability of those renewables, then there's a pretty good future there that I don't know if we'll have a zero power footprint, but we can certainly at times of the day really have a zero carbon footprint with this whole project. So that's a possibility out there, and that is one of our goals, to try to pull that off to the greatest extent possible.
That's great.
Yeah, just to underscore what Rich said, you know, if we're going to have a green water project, we should make a green energy project out of it at the same time. So I think, you know, we're certainly want to, as you go through this and try to, you know, evaluate both how much energy can be produced and when, as Rich was mentioning, and then also, you know, what the ultimate power demands might be, so we can make sure we have that all planned for. As we convert, you know, water to local water supply, we're also in the process of converting to carbon-free energy future. And so we want to make sure that this plant is really hitting both those goals, and we'll do everything on our part that we need to make sure that becomes a reality.
Thank you, Marty and Rich. And I want to call on Patrick. I know Patrick's on the call. Patrick Shields, the Executive Director of West Basin. Patrick, I know you always have plenty of good stuff to say.
I do, Enrique. Hopefully that's the truth. Well, first of all, I want to thank you and the mayor and city of Los Angeles for putting this very nice virtual celebration together. We are, of course, as President Gray said, we're thrilled to be a partner with the city of Los Angeles for the past 25 years. And the next 25 is going to be even better. And we've got to think regionally, and that's what this is about. The mayor and LADWP and LA Sand leadership have made this really this bold. I heard the word audacious used today, and that's what you need in today's environment. It's a different world, it's a different time, and we got to think about the future. And this is a step in that direction. So, yeah, we look forward to continuing this great partnership. A lot of work to be done, a lot of things to be figured out. We got the technical folks to do it. The technology's there. It's just a matter of will to make it happen. So thank you for today.
Thank you, Patrick. And one last round for questions. If not, I am going to conclude the event, but by simply saying that while our groundbreaking ceremony was virtual, we know that the actual work will not be. It'll all be pipes, valves, instruments, biological media, real field work. As this work progresses with our engineering and our technology partners, I think every one of us will be curious to witness it in person. So we're going to make plans for that very eventuality, following all the COVID specific protocols. Just any time that you would like to come and see the work in progress physically, just call any one of us in LA Sand, and we would love to have you come and witness the actual work. Following all the protocols, distance, only one or two of you at a time, but we will definitely make the arrangements. I know I am anxious to go see it, and I will make sure that I'm able to do that. So with that, I want to thank all of you for being such champions of local water resources, and invite you to go along for the ride, occasionally by taking the steering wheel as well. All right? Thank you all. Bye-bye.